Wait, is Kings Dominion's new coaster in 2025 actually a good thing? Well, you're probably asking yourself, well, it's a new coaster. Why wouldn't it be a good thing? Well, the reason Kings Dominion's brand new coaster may not actually be a good thing is what they could have done instead. But what am I talking about? What does this even mean? Well, let's find out. As you have most likely heard, Kings Dominion is planning on building a new coaster to replace Volcano in 2025. And all signs are pointing to this being a B&M wing coaster, which are not always the best ride. And at first glance, I'm not sure this is a worthy Volcano replacement. Because when we take a look at these two coasters, they are literally polar opposites. Sure, you have the launch, but honestly, that's where the similarities pretty much end. Volcano was intense, fast, punchy, whippy, and you got to shoot out of a literal volcano. I mean, obviously it's not real, but that's still pretty awesome. Volcano was made by Intamin, and the wing coaster is manufactured by B&M. And let me tell you, those two companies again are kind of polar opposites. And on Volcano, it's an inverted coaster, whereas the wing coaster is obviously a wing coaster. And the launch on Volcano looked to be very intense, and kind of like sudden, like it honestly kind of came out of nowhere. Whereas the wing coaster's launch looks to be more of like a gliding push. Like if I had to take a guess of what this launch is probably going to feel like, it's probably going to feel very similar to that of Copperhead Strike. It's more or less a gentle push. Now this coaster in no way is a bad one, but I do want to run through the pros and cons of this very coaster. So I feel like the launch is both a pro and a con. It's not going to be super intense, but it's still a launch and it's going to add variety to this coaster. So it's honestly kind of like a draw. This like overbank turn, I think it's going to be more of a con. It's probably not going to be super intense and you're not getting really any hang time. This next inversion looks to be a dive loop. I'm going to say this is a pro. It looks to be pretty decent, and I think it'll be a solid element, and a good addition to this coaster. The next inversion looks to be a pro, and it's going to be decently whippy. Next, you kind of meander around before heading into this slow kind of corkscrew inversion. If it delivers some decent hang time, then it's definitely a pro. This airtime hill is going to be a con. They never work on wing coasters. And this inline twist is for sure a pro, because it will deliver some incredible hang time. So this layout is honestly pretty solid, but honestly, it really doesn't match what Volcano used to do. And I really wish Kings Dominion had paid more homage to that wonderful looking coaster. And honestly, I really wish that Kings Dominion would have incorporated the Volcano theme in here somehow. Now, these are still like renderings and early plans and stuff. We don't know for sure if this is actually what it's going to be, but at the moment, it looks to be pretty certain. Now we ran through the layout, let's go through the pros and cons of the coaster as a whole. I think one pro of this is that the general public will absolutely love this coaster. And this could easily be one of the most popular roller coasters in Kings Dominion. Another pro we have is it is super marketable. Wing coasters are known for being really marketable, and they honestly look super cool. But getting into the cons, I really feel like the lack of intensity is going to be very prevalent in this coaster, and I really wish they chose to make it more intense like Volcano the Blast Coaster was. Another con, and I'm actually a little bit worried about this, is the capacity of this coaster. It appears that this coaster will be running two 20-passenger trains. Yeah, that could be a bit of a problem. Now, Kings Dominion isn't normally super busy, and I mean, Twisted Timbers gets away with basically the same capacity stats. Doesn't never have a super long line, but I don't know, for a new attraction that could easily end up being one of the most popular in the park, I'm a little worried about this capacity. And yes, I know Volcano's capacity was probably a lot worse, but I really wish Kings Dominion would find a way to make this a more high capacity attraction. After all of that, let's answer the question that you probably wanted to know when you clicked on this video. Is this coaster actually a good thing for King's Dominion? And my opinion on this is yes, but also no. So let's take a look at the yes side of this answer. So yes, it is a new coaster, and King's Dominion desperately needs a new major attraction at their park. And I feel like this coaster is really meant to appeal to the general public, which is something that King's Dominion really needs. It's also going to be super marketable, and I really feel like it should help King's Dominion get a lot more people in the door. And King's Dominion isn't super B&M heavy like many other Cedar Fair parks, so this honestly keeps a good balance in the park, and it's really not that bad of an addition if they go through with it. But here's the no side to this answer, because in some ways, this is not a good thing for King's Dominion. Here's why. So I've already briefly discussed the capacity problem with this coaster. It's just not going to be a high capacity attraction, and on those busier weekends, that could seriously be a problem with how popular this coaster really could be. It also fails to pay any real homage to Volcano the Blast Coaster, which is something I really wish they would. And again, we do not have a full plan for this project, and they may tie it into volcanoes somehow, but early plans and stuff, they're basically just not building a volcano. So I am a little bit disappointed with that. But the biggest reason why this coaster potentially is not a good thing for King's Dominion is what they could do if they waited a few more years. Yes, we are heading back to the Six Flags and Cedar Fair merger, because honestly this could be a game changer for the parks, the manufacturers that this new company chooses to work with. And so this plan is being set in place by Cedar Fair, not the two companies of Six Flags and Cedar Fair merge. And I wonder if they had waited till 2026, 2027, whenever this merger closes, could they have gotten a better coaster? Now think about this. With Six Flags and Cedar Fair merging, it potentially opens up a lot more manufacturers that they can work with. And hopefully more pooled money could have been a longer, more intense, higher capacity attraction. And think, what if the new company got on good terms with Intamin once again? This could have been replaced by an Intamin multi-launch coaster. Yeah, I think we'd all take a multi-launch coaster from Intamin over a B&M wing coaster any day of the week. So I honestly wish that King's Dominion was getting this coaster maybe even just 1 year afterwards. I really wish that King's Dominion was getting this coaster just maybe even 1 year later, because I feel like they could have gotten a much better coaster. But that is just a theory. So King's Dominion's new coaster is not necessarily a bad thing, but it might have had the chance to be a lot better. But as always, I guess we'll have to wait and see. If you enjoyed the video, then give it a like and hit that subscribe button. And if you're wondering why Cedar Fair is not going with Intamin for this coaster, then check out the video on your screen right now to learn why Cedar Fair and Intamin do not like each other. And as always, thank you guys for watching, and I will see you all in the next one.